5A, 6A playoffs are the subject of discussion with the czar of the Central State A Conference. Holy applause, holy applause. Robert Burns. 5A, 2 night games, both of them Saturday. I like the draw that Taylorville got. Taylorville and Marion, 2 6-3s, and the Central State A Conference helped Taylorville get a home game.
And it's not the same Marion team that played last year. Went to Metamora and got waxed, making them a member of a very big club. They've lost 16 out of the last 24 players of that team last year. So it's a little different Marion team. Plus, Marion's got to get on the bus and come about 3.5 hours. And it kind of all works in Scotty Albertson's favor. I think he's going to get at least the 99th win of his career anyway. You got to like Taylorville's chances.
And the other game is also in the Decatur, and that's Jacksonville and MacArthur. MacArthur started out about 6-0, gone I think 1-2 in their last 2 games. Playing in the tough Big 12 conference, Jacksonville and Decatur MacArthur.
And the thing is, Rupp, though, you don't know about the Big 12 because they all play among themselves. You don't see them outside the conference, but Bloomington's had some success in the postseason. Normal Community's had success, so you got to figure it's a tough league. Is it a winnable game for Jacksonville? Yeah, although you got to make MacArthur the favorite simply because they're going to be playing at home. And I think those kids are trying to prove something. Their coach, Derek Spakes, he played there back in the mid-'90s. They're trying to prove something that they're not just a basketball town. They're not just a basketball school. So that might be a tough way to go for Jacksonville.
You know what I think about Decatur.
Yes, and
I'm taking Jacksonville.
And we don't want the Decatur people calling us, so to let them know what you know about
Jacksonville's
Decatur.
won about 5 in a row and has played a whole lot better lately. And I like the option that Schnitker gives them as a thrower and as a runner. A home game for Sacred Heart Griffin, a rematch game against Chatham Glenwood. This is the 3rd time they've done this in about 5 years. Glenwood and SHG playing in the first round of the playoffs. Obviously not strangers to each other. Now you sit back and you say, did either one of them hold back when they played in the regular season? That was a 21-3 SHG victory, 24-3 SHG victory, and that was 17-3. Glenwood was driving, and John Lance intercepted a pass, went 103 yards, and that made for the final margin. But you don't know what they held back and what they might have left, but that was a game that Gary Wilson was very, very solid in that.
And that's just the key. See, the key with Glenwood is there's 2 things in Glenwood's favor. I don't necessarily believe Glenwood's going to win the game, but there's 2 things in their favor. One, they schemed very, very well in the last game against SHG's passing game. They held John Lance to virtually nothing by John Lance standards. And they're not intimidated by SHG. They're just not. They just figure, we're as good as you are. You got to prove it. You got to beat us. Gary Wilson's the X factor. There's no doubt about that. Because if you scheme against the pass and then here he comes scooting, slashing, going down the field, that's probably going to be the difference. I don't see it being any different, Rupp. I really don't.
And if there's a Danny Hilby, if there's a Josh Atwood at middle linebacker, you can play that. Basically, Glenwood played a 3-8 defense. They had 3 guys up front, and everybody else they had on the defense was a cover guy.
Although this time, second time around, Lynn Onken's got a chance to scheme a little different this time. He knows about Gary Wilson, knows what he can do, knows what he can't do, but I just think SHG's got too many weapons to deal with Glenwood.
There's a part of those guys
not deal with Glenwood, I should say.
The SHG staff, the Glenwood staff, there's a part of those guys that dread these rematch type games. There's another part that loves them.
But you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. The way the seeds fell, Glenwood kind of got in the side door with a 5-4 record. The geography, you knew it was going to go this way. So
played well in the last game though at Quincy. Went to Quincy and played well.
Yeah, they finally
came out of it healthy.
So but they'll play probably. Mike Reynolds is probably only going to kick, and I think that's going to have a lot to do with it. That hurts, but guy like SHG and the IHSA didn't hurt SHG at all. They win on Saturday. Doesn't make any difference who wins between Springfield High and Richwoods, who we're going to talk about next, because they'll still be at Memorial Stadium. They'll be on the other side of the field if Springfield High wins. And the way those seeds fall, they could have 3 straight games in Springfield.
Springfield High against Richwoods, that's our last one. Springfield High has to go on the road. First playoff game since the 1990s for the Senators. That doesn't matter to those the guys that Springfield High has. They had to go to Taylorville. Their playoffs have been going on for about 6 weeks now. They're ready to go.
And Springfield's trying to prove something. They still don't think they're getting a lot of respect from people, even though they had the 7-2 record. But the 2 losses they had were completely different. They got blown out by SHG 48-0, but somebody zigs where they should have zagged against Washington. The kid gets in the end zone and they win by 2 points.
Bernsey, though,
I still think it's going to be a tough way to go for Springfield. They got to go up there. They got to go to Richwoods. It's right there on campus at Richwoods High School. Richwoods is still Richwoods, although Peoria football's declined significantly. I think that's going to be a tough way to go.
watch the fullback. If Richwoods is in existence, watch the fullback.
Yeah, and Mike Taylor, he went to Bergen, so he knows all about Richwoods. So he knows it's belly left, belly right. Dave Lang, the coach, who's been there since they built the place practically. They don't do anything cute. He admitted that, but he said the skill position people on their team are the linemen. So Springfield knows what it's going up against, but I don't know the competition that Richwoods has been playing this year. They may not see a team that's quite as versatile as Springfield High. A Tyrell Bolden, a Derek Wilkerson, a Dane Beelan. So I would make Richwoods the favorite. It wouldn't stun me if Springfield High
Wouldn't
won.
stun me if Springfield High won either. But you know what? I have a concern about the number of big plays that Springfield High has given up the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Washington had an 80-yard run, a 70, a 60. The quarterback had three runs of 33 yards and more, and SHG big played him to death. So I don't know that Dale Sprague is not going to go conservative on him. He's not going to go soft. He's not going to stop blitzing. He's going to gamble on defense. And if the fullback gets through a hole, maybe he goes.
Yeah, but it's a run-oriented offense. Say that 3 times real quick. I still like Richwoods, although you want Springfield to win just so they have another shot at SHG so we can start that circus all over again.
I'm taking the Senators. Check us out next week and see how we did.